What's up, everybody? Welcome to the UFC 311 Best Bets. Me and A-Train are going to give you our favorite bet for each fight on the card. All right, let's get right into it. First fight of the night, we've got Tagir Ulanbekov versus Clayton Carpenter. Ulanbekov minus 334 favorite. Too wide to be playing that for my liking. But I think Ulanbekov to win over 1.5. Cut that juice down to minus 155. I don't think he's going to finish him quick. I think it goes over 1.5. I believe they're going to be grapple heavy. So yeah, give me Ulanbekov over 1.5 to bring it to minus 155. That's all I really see. What do you think?
Not many spots of this fight. The only one that kind of sticks out to me is because they're going to be spending a lot of time on the ground, I think. Ulanbekov by submission is plus 400. I don't feel like there's enough juice on it for me, to be quite honest with you. I mean, Carpenter at 2,200 to finish. That's what he does, right? So, I mean, pick your poison. I think that it's going to be a lot of ground games. So, yeah, I mean, one of those sub props, but honestly, it's a pass.
All right. Next fight of the night, we got Ricky Turcios versus Bernardo Sopaj. Turcios plus 225, Bernardo minus 275. There's nothing here. Again, nothing's really calling my name here. Bernardo over 1.5 again, because I think Ricky is a fairly durable guy. I mean, I don't think he's going to get knocked out in the first round or anything like that. So Bernardo over 1.5 will take you from minus 275 to minus 138. And I think it goes 1.5 rounds for sure. I feel like it does. So Bernardo over 1.5 minus 138. That's all I really see. What do you think?
Yeah, Ricky's not a guy that gets finished too often. Rojas was the only guy that pretty much finished him. So I like Sopaj by decision, plus 110. I think he's going to lay on him. He showed that he has the wrestling. And honest to God, if he didn't get knocked out in the third round and survived, he probably wins that 29-28, to be quite honest with you. So I was going to decision, and he used a wrestle heavy approach. So that's my thought there.
All right. Next fight of the night, we got Rinya Nakamura minus 550. Massive favorite. You can get him down to minus 250. So 300 points better, minus 250 submission decision. So double method victory there. I don't think he's going to win by knockout. Gafurov's never been knocked out. Sure, ground and pound is possible, but I think more likely will be him wrestle fucking the guy and looking for that submission. So submission decision minus 250. What do you think?
I like to say Rinya finishes him. He's finished guys early in his career. You get plus money and a finish at plus 165. But again, he has, like we talked about in the earlier video, hasn't been showing that urgency, right? But so I think he wins this fight. It's you want to get that 550 down. I like what you're saying. The over 1.5. The problem is, I know I can see him just dominating this fight, but Gafurov has lost 5 decisions out of his 6 losses. So maybe Rinya and over 1.5 here is a good bet because Gafurov seems to be like a tough guy. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Rinya and I'm gonna go with over 1.5. I don't think he beats him, and if he beats him, it's gonna be late, like finish wise.
All right. Next fight of the night, we've got Carol Rosa minus 250, Aylin Perez plus 200. As we said in the original breakdowns video, I don't know if you flipped, but I haven't. I'm still on Aylin Perez at plus 200. And actually, I just like the money line. I like the plus 200 because you're not getting enough points on the submission. And I mean, it's not like she's a submission machine. I know last fight she found it, but she's not going to find it every fight. And the extra points here, it's not enough to make it worth it. So I like just the plus 200 money line on the dog. What do you think?
What submission line are you getting? Because my submission line is plus 1,600.
For Aylin Perez?
Yeah.
What the fuck? I don't know why I wrote down here minus 300. I only had 100 points. Maybe I looked at something
Maybe it
wrong.
was a double chance, but just submission alone is plus
Oh
1,600.
no, you're right. I looked at the double method submission decision was like plus 250. It was like 50 points or something like that. And it's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that's
that's not that does none of that makes sense. But this plus 1,600 kind of makes a tad bit of sense because
yeah.
I mean, if you're on the Perez side, you're thinking she gets her down and she controls her on the ground. She likes to move on position and she has good control down there, right? So if you're on that side, I mean, plus 1,600. I fucking missed out last year. I mean, I texted you on the last Alien person. I'm like, yo, our submission line's like plus 1,100. I want to hit that, and I didn't. And that was plus 1,600. Not saying that it's gonna happen, but like sprinkling $10 on a
$10, yeah.
100 for a girl that you think is going to wrestle and use the ground game, and all that grappling is going to be involved. I mean, there could be worse bets. So yeah, that's the
Yeah.
only thing that really stuck out at me was the plus 1600.
Yeah, like I feel like I'll be parlaying her money line, as crazy as it sounds, because she's already plus money. But a single on the submission, yeah, absolutely. And then oddly enough, Bet365 has the first four fights of the night bet boosted together. So you got massive favorites here in Ulanbekov minus 355, Sopaj minus 275, Nakamura minus 550, and Perez. Those four are bet boosted up to plus 628. It's not a bad bet boost, man. I might put that right at the very beginning and get the first four fights out of the night and make some money right there, because I think those four are winning.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think at least three of them. The Perez fights, it could go either way, but she does have a real path to victory, that's for sure.
All right, next fight of the night. This is the only fight that I feel like is a heavy trap. I will not be betting it. We got Zachary Reese, who is now the underdog, plus 170, versus Azamat Bekoev, minus 200. We both said we think this guy, this late last minute replacement, has all the experience and all the tools to win this fight. There's no props that I'm seeing. I'm only seeing money lines, and it's just not. I don't know. I don't like it. I'm not betting it. Period. What do you think?
I'm not going to bet it, but I mean, Zach Reese being the underdog now on the other guy being on short notice, and Zach Reese knockout isn't off the page, right? So him being an underdog, um, I don't have any props here, but him being an underdog, and I think his path to victory is to knock him out. To
Oh
be
yeah,
quite
that's
honest with you, so I can see the knockout. If if I'm getting plus 4 or 500, maybe I think that might be a spot where again you can sprinkle that spot, right? Because I mean, what other path to victory does he really have? I don't think he's gonna sub him. I mean, he might, but like I just don't think so. He's not. I don't think this fight goes to decision either, right? So I mean, if he holds anything in this fight, it's the power edge. So yeah, I mean, Zach Reese by knockout. We'll see what number I get. I might sprinkle.
all right. Next fight of the night, we got Grant Dawson, minus 270 favorite over Diego Ferreira, who's coming back at plus 225. As much as I really want to bet on Diego Ferreira because I think he's the more dangerous and more fun fighter, I mean, I think we've come to terms that he's probably going to get wrestle fucked here. So Grant Dawson minus 275. You can get him on the submission decision line down to 105, minus 105. And I think like there's no way he's knocking out Diego Ferreira. So his wins are a submission or a decision. So you're getting plus, not plus, but you're getting 170 points better. So minus 275 to minus 105. I think that's the play for me. What do you think?
Well, Ferreira's got the 6 losses, 5 by decision, 1 by KO. So take the KO off the page with Grant Dawson, and I don't think he gets subbed on the ground. So yeah, Grant Dawson by decision, plus 140. That's probably my spot on this fight, to be quite honest with you. I don't think he can sub. He won't sub Diego Ferreira.
But you're only getting 40 points more. Is it worth it?
It's plus money. I rather just the plus money and say it just looks better. And for half a round, I just can't see him subbing him. Knocking out Diego Ferreira, yeah, maybe. Decisioning him for sure, because Ferreira gives up minutes all the fucking time. Right? So yeah, the sub, I think it's off the table. Just me. I personally think the sub's off the table, but
All right. Then we got Bogdan Guskov coming in at minus 334 over last minute replacement. Billy Elekana plus 250. Man, I really wanted to see him knock out Johnny Walker. But minus 334, no dice. I don't want to play that. You can get him by KO for minus 138. I don't know. Maybe, but that's the only prop that I really see. What do you think?
there's not enough juice on any of these props in this.
Exactly.
Now, I seen Billy. I actually watched some more Billy fights after we did that thing, and there's a fight where he got wobbled in and didn't go out, right? So maybe he survives. Maybe one of those decision plus 400 plus 600 decisions on both guys is live in this fight, because who knows if it gets past the 1.5 round mark, how sloppy those fucking fights get, sometimes. So I'm not playing this fight. And if I was gonna play it, I'd play it for it to go long rather than short. Just because the odds dictate that in this fight. But yeah, man, I'm not telling anyone to go fucking play this fight.
All right, next fight of the night, we got Battle of the Grapplers, Jailton Almeida minus 450, Sergey Spivac plus 350. I think almost everybody thinks Jailton Almeida is going to win this fight just by being the better athlete, the guy who gets the takedown. Now, Almeida, you ever see this guy knock anyone out? No. So he either submits you or he lays on you for 3 rounds. So currently minus 450. A very conservative play is the submission decision double method, and that takes to minus 150. So you're getting 300 points better. He's certainly not winning by knockout. The submission is probably the play, but a conservative submission decision double method minus 150 is should be pretty safe, I think. What do you think?
I actually like the KO decision. Just
Yeah,
because,
does he KO
yeah,
anybody?
yeah, but it would be KO. It would be KO via ground and pound, right? It wouldn't be KO via not because Sergey Spivak hasn't been tapped out in his career. So is Jelton going to be that guy that goes and taps him out? I think he might be defensively aware in the grappling sense of things. So I'm not saying Jelton doesn't get him down, but why move position when you can just pound him out? And we've also known that Jelton sometimes doesn't show enough urgency and just rides these things out, right? So I can't see again. I don't see him submitting a guy that's never been submitted. It very well could happen, but odds dictate that I'll take the extra 75 points and do the plus 125. Um, honestly, if I feel like I put in big money on this fight, I'll just take the money line. Because I feel pretty strong about Jelton in the spot. So yeah, but I like the KO. I like the ground and pound versus over the submission.
All right. Next fight of the night, we got massive favorite and young prospect Peyton Talbot coming in at minus 1200 versus the grizzled veteran who's probably on his way out, Ione Barcelos plus 700. So absolutely insane odds. They kind of make sense as one guy's young and looks pretty damn good, and one guy's old and probably kind of chinny at this point. But minus 1200, crazy. Anybody who's a minus 1200 favorite should be finishing. If you're that big of a favorite, it means you should finish. He should not be able to tap Barcelos. So if a minus 1200 favorite's going to win and not by submission, it's by knockout. Knockout still only getting you to minus 180, I think I wrote down here, which not good by any means. I don't like it, but I think it's the only way I would play it. I don't know. I don't know how else to play this fight. Don't think I will, to be honest. But I think Peyton knockout's probably the only way that I can see right now. What do you think?
Barcelo's only been knocked out that one time by Umar, right, in his entire career, and it was a body kick, I believe. So, right, so
Oh no, he got the fucking
body kick
chin.
was it?
That was a massive, vicious knockout, dude. He was out
Yeah,
for a
yeah, it
while.
was 3 fights ago, though. I know, I saw it. Oh, body kick, then punch to the face. Yeah, yeah, body kick led to the punch to the face. But anyways, I'm gonna take Peyton Talbot by decision plus 250, and ride out Rowney only being stopped twice in his lifetime, and let's just say he's a tough son of a bitch, and maybe there's a respect factor from Peyton. We'll see. Check the weigh-ins if they're like really happy, huggy. Sometimes these guys don't go out and knock out those guys, right? So I'm gonna play that route. I'm gonna play that route because you're trying to get a minus 1200 to something that's playable, right? And I don't see Rowney winning any minutes. Maybe if he takes him down, but like, what's the best odds you can get in Peyton Talbot? And I'm gonna go with the Peyton Talbot. No one thinks he's gonna fucking decision him. I don't think he's gonna sub him. That for sure. That would entertain him getting him down, which I think is off the table. So it's between the KO and the decision. I'm gonna go on a limb and say I like Peyton Talbot by decision.
All right. Moving on to the main card. If you haven't already, please subscribe. We do appreciate it. And first fight of the main card, we got Kevin Holland minus 110, Renier de Ritter minus 110. So we got a pick'em fight. As I said in the initial breakdown, I think there's only two outcomes to this fight. You got a Holland knockout, you got a de Ritter submission. Those are your two plays, or you're looking at some kind of under. I just can't see. I know when you anticipate that finish, somebody's getting finished. That sometimes it turns into a snooze fest, but I just can't see it here, man. DeRidder's way too sloppy on the feet to survive it if he can't get those takedowns and submission going. And yeah, I just think Holland knocks him out if he doesn't get tapped out in the first round. So I think DeRidder has a chance for that early submission. Otherwise, Holland knocks him out. I like the Holland plus 210 on the knockout. And I know you like the over. You didn't like the first round thing, but I kind of like under 1.5 at plus 135 because I think somebody is going to catch the other fairly quickly. I think. In general, I think I'm going to go with the Holland knockout, even though you just cannot trust this guy whatsoever. It wouldn't shock me if he gets choked out in the first fucking minute of the fight, but give me the Holland knockout. What do you think?
I, I can't see him getting choked out, to be quite honest with you, because the guys that are choking him out are like Lovato Jr., Khamzat Chimaev, and fucking who was it? Brendan Allen. That's putting DeRidder on the level of those three fighters. I don't think so. Maybe Lovato, but definitely not the other two. So man, like Kevin Holland's not getting choked out by a whole bunch. I can see a DeRidder decision. I can see him taking him down, riding him out at plus 260. I can see a Kevin Holland knockout at plus 210. I was hoping I was getting a little bit more juice on the Kevin Holland knockout. That's good. But honestly, DeRidder's lost twice in his lifetime, both by knockout. I just don't see how you don't play Kevin Holland by knockout. Kevin Holland's not going to win any minutes in this fight, so the Kevin Holland decision's off the fucking table by far. He's not going to win any minutes. He's not going to. This is not going to be a point fight, striking distance battle. It's not. It's going to get sloppy at some points because DeRidder actually, I don't feel like he has the striking to stand up with him. So he's going to try to push him on the cage, get him down. I don't think he subs him though. So if I'm going to go, it's either DeRidder decision or Kevin Holland knockout. Pick which one you like, folks. But those are two ways I go. I think you got to be a great grappler to submit Kevin Holland. So I didn't see it in DeRidder. I didn't see it in DeRidder in that first fight. Maybe I'm just reading a lot into that first fight, but I don't know, man. Mearshart doesn't tap if he didn't have that no gas. And Kevin Holland's never. He's an idiot, but he's never gassed.
All right, next fight of the night, we got Beneil Dariush plus 140, Renato Moicano minus 170. Man, I missed the boat. Like you hit Beneil when he was plus two something or whatever like that, and
Got him at
we
plus
talked.
240.
Yeah, plus 240, and we talked about it, and we both said yes, this is what makes sense. We were both on him, and like I would bet that all day right now, but I'm regretting not doing it. And now at these numbers, I don't love anything because I'm not so sure that he's going to submit Moicano because Moicano is a good grappler. I could see him riding him out, grinding him, being on top. They're both fairly chinny, so you could see it's possible one guy gets knocked out, but just none of the numbers are big enough for me to like. So at this point, it would just be the money line for me. I am on Dariush's skill set here. I think he's the more well-rounded fighter if his chin's not completely shot. So I'm on Dariush, but I missed the boat. It's too late. I wish I got in when you did. So just money line for me. What do you think?
You can get the extra 50 points for the KO decision on Dariush to plus 190. I don't think he submits Moicano. Moicano's lost three times by KO and once by submission. I mean, it's possible. And once by decision. But I mean, what's Money Moicano's last loss was to Rafael dos Anjos in a fight that he took on short notice, I believe. And he showed fucking some epic durability in that fight, some epic durability. So this is a 3-round fight, and if he's going to show epic durability, a lot better durability than we used to call this guy Chinny back when he first started, right? We said he was kind of like just sort of like Dariush, but neither one of Dariush does carry the power edge in this fight by far, and who knows? I like the KO decision line the best. I just don't see the sub happening. Moicano should be able to. It's like the Spivac Jelton. Moicano should be able to be okay on the ground. So take your extra 50 points if you want, because I don't think the submission's on the table. Honestly, I don't think there's going to be a hell of a lot of grappling going down.
Okay, next fight of the night. Definitely one of the most fan friendly fights. We got Yuri Prochazka, Jamal Hill. They're both coming in at -1. Oh no, Yuri's a slight underdog.
Yeah, no worries.
Yuri plus 110, Jamal Hill -138. I mean, the Yuri knockout plus 200. If you're on Hill, the knockout plus 190 or something like that. If you want a conservative play and you don't want to go so crazy, you just want to win, I think under 2.5 at like the -180 range is pretty safe. I mean, I'd be very surprised if at some point they don't get reckless. I mean, this is a Yuri fight. He gets reckless, and someone's going to be swinging here. Hill's been so cringe. Like, I don't think he's going to exactly come in here playing it safe. Like, they're going to trade. Someone's going to go down. And I know, like, we say that all the time, and it ends up being a goddamn decision, and you're left disappointed, but somebody's got to go down here. So I think you play the knockout on either side if you're confident. Pick a guy and pick him by knockout. And if you're not confident, you want conservative under 2.5. What do you think?
If you certain books, they'll just have fight to go end by knockout, right? So I think DraftKings has that. I'm not too sure if FanDuel does, but DraftKings has just how will fight end knockout, and that's the way it goes here. Yuri's finished. All his losses are all knockouts except for one, which is submission. Not happening here. And the two losses by Jamal Hill are both knockouts. I believe even it was a TKO by Paul Craig with his arm popping back.
Yeah.
It wasn't even a submission by Paul Craig. So, yeah, exactly. So I think knockout on both sides. If you get the knockout prop anywhere close to shit plus 200, just go ride that shit because I think it's a knockout that happens. Obviously, no ground game is going to happen, and yeah, neither of these guys have ever gone to lost a decision. So, I mean, it can go to a decision; it'll be a first, but I don't see it happening. Knockout is the play.
All right. Co-main event, Merab Dvalishvili plus 225, Umar Nurmagomedov -275. Crazy to see a champion who's been on such a run be such a big underdog, but I mean, we do agree with it, or I do agree with it. I know not the general consensus here, but I said it in the last interview. I do think Umar's wrestling is going to be able to keep this standing, and I think Merab is chinny. He's been rocked many times. He's battled through it. But still, I think he can be chinny. I think he's in his own head in this fight. I think Umar Nurmagomedov is very live for the knockout, and that's coming in at +700. So I'm going to be stabbing the +700 as a single, and I think I'll be just taking Umar to finish, and you're getting that at +275. If you finish under 4, +375. Like I'm looking at all those. I'm looking at all the Umar finishes, and I know a lot of people are going to say, "No, this has decision written all over it." It's just me though. I think he gets the finish here. What do you think?
This has decision written all over it.
It does. On paper it has decision.
Okay, so I don't see a submission decision, but actually don't mind the KO decision at -150. Because like you said, I mean KO I feel like is the only other way. Murad big ass head. His only loss inside the distance was a technical guillotine choke. I believe it was against Ricky Simone in the
I think it's
last
one
fucking
second.
So honestly, we're gonna say that he has four losses by four decisions. He probably would have lost that one too. He possibly might have not, but yeah, I like the overs. It's a lower weight fight. Marab seems safe enough. What's Umar's plan? I mean, if he's gonna finish him, it's gonna be by knockout, right? It's like you said,
I think he's
if
going
you,
to.
I mean, I'm not against stabbing +700, throwing $10, $20 on +700. It's not gonna kill me. So like, I don't mind stabbing that. But at the end of the day, I think the actual play by me would probably be the Umar by decision, and then counter it with that stab of the 700, right? You know what I mean? So anyway, I like Umar by decision. Honestly, I've been kind of flipping to not flipping fully to Marab, but I'm kind of seeing. I'm talking to some other people, and I'm seeing some points for Marab, but I'm not going to go against a guy that's not shown too many chinks in the armor. There's been a few chinks in the armor, but nothing like I watched Marab's losses. So what I did was watch Marab's losses, and yeah, I'm still on Umar, but I think it's by far a harder fight than people are at. The odds are suggesting. You know what I mean? It's a lot closer than -3, whatever it is, to Marab, right? So I feel like he's probably getting a little. Yeah, I think he's getting a little disrespected, and he's got to know that he's getting a little disrespected. So that's where I again see the finish not coming. But he rushes in like a bull, right? So Umar's got that striking that can matador him, though. That's the thing, right? He's never went up against a guy like that, so. We'll see, man. This is a tough fight. I still lean Umar though, because I've learned a long time ago not to go against the Nurmagomedov.
All right, main event of the night: Islam Makhachev -350, Arman Tsarukyan +275. Um, I think the odds are wide. I can see this fight finishing playing out so many different ways. But I think the most common way is it's gonna kind of be a grinding, scrambling fight, just kind of like the first one. And I find myself saying Islam's going to be a little bit better than him everywhere. The only way he loses is by knockout, I think, but I don't think he gets caught. So I don't know. Islam over 1.5 seems very safe at -225, but you're only getting 125 more points. Like I don't love like him to win by submission. I don't love him to win by knockout. I could see another decision. I think all the overs, all of the overs. What do you think?
Islam by decision. That's what I think is
Yeah.
what my play is going to be. I'm still getting plus money on it, so I do like it. But if I get that far in anything, I'll probably just counter that with Armand by KO because he's not technical the way he throws, but he kind of puts on pretty much everything into it. But you can see him coming. That's the only issue. Like they're not hidden at all, right? But he does throw heat. It doesn't always hit, but he throws heat. And I watched the Adriano Martins fight again, and that's the only thing you have against Islam in his career, right? You got to see, and that's what Martins kind of does. It's the same thing. It's Armand's not technical. Martinez isn't super technical, but they throw heat, right? So
I can see him getting into trouble if he gasses, like because he breathes heavy sometimes late in the fights. But
that depends, though. Like, how much wrestling do you really see going down here? I mean, they're both going to try it. It's obvious they're both going to try it.
I would if there was like a bet both guys to land a takedown, I would bet that bet. Like I only use 365, and so I have very limited things here. I'm sure there's a book offering that though, and I'm quite confident both guys will land a takedown in this fight.
I think both guys will probably land multiple takedowns in this fight, to be quite honest with you. So I do actually think it's going to be a 5-round war that Islam fucking just squeaks out, right? Like, that's the thing.
Yeah, I don't think this is a hard fight to look good in. Like at the end of this fight, you're gonna be like, he looked very human or whatever. Like that was a tough fight for him. Like, of course it's a fucking tough fight. Arman's a tough dude.
Right. So, like, what makes those other fights that Islam was in good? It was his opponents, right? Poirier is a pressure fighter. Poirier likes to go for it, kind of shit. I mean, Arman's not your typical pressure fighter. He is in a sense, but he doesn't come with that same brand of striking as Dustin Poirier. He doesn't come with that same brand of tenacity as like a more prime Volkanovski. But everyone's got to remember that Volkanovski was a much smaller man to Islam when they were fighting. So that head kick, that's probably what should have happened in the first fight. The fact that Volkanovski took him such in deep waters and still pulled off that fifth round to make it somewhat close, right? Um, that's got to be a tiny bit concerning in some facets of it because, you know, Armand's a true 155er, right? He's a big boy. He's got wrestling. I
Fucking
mean,
tank, man.
The problem is like you ever watch that Armand Gamrot fight? This is gonna be a higher level Armand Gamrot fight. This is like that's exactly what I see. And what happened in that fight? Gamrot won the striking exchanges, right? And that's what Islam. Like I said, he's improved over the years, and I think his striking it's more technical than Armand, and Armand just wings punches. I think. And honestly, we've seen Armand wobbled.
Yeah, and I think Islam's gonna look pretty fucking tall next to him too.
Well, yeah. Oh fuck yeah, he's gonna look big.
Like Arman
That's the
is a
thing too.
fucking tank, but
Back
he's
if you
short.
go back into that fight, that Zach Reese versus that Bekoev guy, back earlier in the card. Uh, Look at weigh-ins. I think Zach Reese is going to tower over this guy. So it's something to look at. I was looking up on that fight because him being an underdog, folks, like, I don't know. I'm not saying it's like a given or anything, but like with a full camp, with all the power, and I think he has the size advantage. I don't know, man.
Well, like you said, he can absolutely win by KO, but we got to see that prop. Like I'm waiting for that KO prop.
Oh yeah, but I probably will play that KO prop. I'm not playing the plus 170. I'll tell you that much. I
Yeah,
won't
yeah.
play that.
Funny thing, I was just fucking around making a bunch of little dumb parlays like I always do, long shot prop parlays. But I know I'm alone on the Nurmagomedov knockout, but the Nurm KO with a Yuri KO with a Aylin Perez money line because she's already an underdog. Just those three, $10 pays $1,000. Buddy, if Yuri wins, it's probably by knockout. Perez,
Okay. All right.
Perez, I think wins anyways. Now, if that buddy, fuck, I don't know. I'll be playing that. Probably a lot more than $10 too. I'll throw 50
Uh,
for 50 for $5,000. Let's go.
I'll follow you, but I'll probably just be a little wuss and just put my 10 or $5 or $10.
Let's go. All right, guys, drop us some comments. Drop us your favorite parlay, your favorite prop. If there's something we missed, I'm gonna be honest. Like the card is great. I'm really excited to watch it, but there's no props that are like jumping out at me. So if we missed a prop that you see, drop us a comment, man. I'm always in for making more bets. And may Saturday night be a fucking awesome night, and we'll talk soon.
Peace.